accompanied by Mr. Oscar Nyirenda from Office of the Accountant General. Thank you.
Morning Chair, morning PS and team. My name is Patrick Mwombu, Acting Director under the Controller of Internal Audit. Thanks.
Thank you. Parliamentary clerks, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. My name is Priska M. Shimalungu and I'm from the Office of the Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no media.
Good morning, PS. James Kunda from Times of Zambia.
Thank you, PS and your team. I'm Warren C. Mwambazi, Member of Parliament for Bwana Mkubwa constituency from Mundola, and I'm the chairperson of this committee. Thank you. You can proceed and introduce your team.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the Public Accounts Committee. My name is Nicholas Piri. I'm the Permanent Secretary in charge of operations in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. My colleague, the substantive office holder for administration, is not in the office, but we are one office, so I'm here to stand in for the ministry. Accompanied by my directors, who are we allowed to introduce themselves, starting with the Director, Rural Development.
Thank you, PS. Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members of this committee. I'm Engineer Fanny Zanpiri. I'm the Director, the Department of Rural Development at the Ministry.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament. My name is Nancy Mwamba. I'm the Director of Finance in the Ministry.
Good morning, Chair and members of this committee. I'm Julian Mlenga, the Clerk of the House of Chiefs.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chairperson and the honorable members of the committee. I'm Kazinga Kennedy, Senior Accountant in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. I'm Jethro Kemwanga, Director Internal Audit from the Ministry. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. I'm Masatunya Jacob. I'm Head of Procurement in the Ministry of Local Government.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. My name is Joyce Kubansa, Accountant in the Ministry. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. I'm Chablemba Kelvin, Assistant Director at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Axon Haranji, Director of Local Government Administration in the Ministry.
Thank you for the introductions. PS, let me take this opportunity to confer with immunity in accordance with Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, which gives you immunity as you make submission before this honorable committee. However, with that said, PS, I will just ask you to give us 5 minutes. We have a small caucus, then we'll call you back. Thank you so much. Immunity is lifted.
Breathtaking and thrilling. Visit Livingston City for pure adrenaline and fun. Let its thrills and spills inspire you. Livingston features arguably the best sunset views in the world. Memorable game viewing adventures in the small but well-stocked Mosi Otunya National Park, where you can see the rare white rhino. Experience the best of Zambia's rich culture and history at the Livingston Museum, or through visual and performing arts, food and folklore at the Bonfire by Night. And to crown them all, the awesome, majestic, mighty Victoria Falls, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, known in local language as Mosi Otunya, the smoke that thunders. A visit to Livingston is incomplete if it does not include this world-famous icon. Some call it Zambia, but we call it home. One Zambia, one destination, limitless exploring. Zambia, let's explore.
It's a land where every person is born free,
and it's a land of peace, of love and unity.
This land, Zambia, land of the strong, home of the brave. Our land, Zambia, free men we stand. In this land, beauty all around. There is no other love like a mother's love for her child.
Oh, there's nobody come and take our peace away.
Let no one take what is meant for all to share. This land, Zambia, land of the strong, home of the brave. Our land, Zambia, free men we stand. In this land, I believe the better days are surely coming, and I believe that we can make it through the night if we lay pride aside, put a trust in God.
Learn to love each other. You my sister, you my brother.
Right or wrong, together we are stronger.
So don't let nothing
tear us apart. Zambia, land of the strong, home of the brave. Our land, Zambia, free men we stand. This land, Zambia,
much for joining us on Parliament Television. We are now broadcasting the Public Accounts Committee as they continue interacting with the Permanent Secretary. And this is Mr. Nicholas Piri, Operations from the Local Government and Rural Development. That's the ministry there. As they continue looking at the Auditor General's report for the year ended 2023. My name is Paul St. and we'll be together until the time the committee will conclude its business today. We'll cross over to the committee. They just took a 5 minutes break. They were having a brief discussion. We'll cross back to that committee for now.
Signed by yourself as PS Technical Services. We do understand the substantive controlling officer is not available, but however we'll allow you to proceed and make a submission. But for questioning, won't question. We'll question the controlling officer when he's back, because we want him to own his things as it were. So for this purpose, we'll allow you to proceed and make the submission before this committee.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. We are most obliged.
Thank you.
Chairperson, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation for the opportunity granted to the Ministry to present this memorandum on the report of the Auditor General for the financial year ended 31st December 2024. This occasion, Chairperson, reflects our shared commitment to ensuring transparency, accountability and prudent management of public resources. My ministry is committed to upholding the highest level of integrity and ensuring that public resources are utilized effectively to achieve their intended purpose. We acknowledge the Auditor General's findings and we have taken concrete steps to address the identified issues. I'm pleased now, Chairperson, to present the detailed responses and actions taken to address the audit queries. These responses outline the measures implemented to strengthen the systems and processes underpinning effective financial management. Chairperson, the mandate of the Ministry is to promote a decentralized, effective local governance system and facilitate the delivery of municipal services and infrastructure development through local authorities in order to effectively and efficiently contribute to sustainable socio-economic development, as well as facilitate rural development and customary affairs for the improved quality of life and economic well-being of citizens across the country. Chairperson, in terms of the budget, income and expenditure, in the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the financial year ended 31st December 2024, a total provision of 9,745,212,536 kwacha was made to cater for the operations of the ministry, against which amounts totaling 5,637,055,938 kwacha were released, resulting in underfunding of 4,108,156 and 59 kwacha and 598 kwacha. As of December 2024, amounts totaling to 5,600,045,536 had been spent, leaving a balance of 37,010,402 kwacha as shown in the table 1 below. Chairperson, management acknowledges the auditor's observation of the underfunding by the Treasury amounting to 4,108,156,598 ingwe. This was due to the realignment of the 2024 national budget following the drought which affected the nation. Further, the unspent amount of was as a result of Treasury not clearing some open items which were submitted for payment mostly in December of 2024. Management Chairperson wrote to the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Accountant General's Office on the unpaid items, and so far about 14,556,050 kwacha was paid. Further, Treasury released about 4,962,641 and 16 ngwe to clear arrears for goods and services that were already delivered and offered in the year 2024. Transactions totaling 17,640,460,000 were reversed. The Ministry Chairperson will continue engaging the Ministry of Finance and National Planning to ensure that all open items in IFMIS are paid before the end of the fiscal period. This information is contained also in Annex 1. Chairperson, I turn to the audit findings. An examination of accounting and other records maintained at the Ministry headquarters for the financial year ended 31st December 2024 and audit verifications carried out in selected districts reviewed the following. A. Audit of annual performance information. A review of records such as annual work plans and budget and annual report for 2024 reviewed that the Ministry planned to implement 5,676 activities across 6 programs. However, as at the 1st December 2024, only 3,408 activities had been implemented, leaving 2,268 activities unimplemented. This represented a 42% program performance as depicted in the figure in the table 2 below. Management Response Chairperson, Management acknowledges the auditor's observation that 5,676 activities across 6 programs were planned to be implemented in 2024, but only 3,408 activities had been implemented, leaving 2,268 activities unimplemented. This chairperson was mainly due to underfunding of the budget as outlined earlier, and to this effect, the following activities had remained unimplemented. Under human settlement, planning and regulations, sensitization on planning agreement, this target could not be achieved in the 2024 financial year due to some commitments by the traditional leaders, hence the engagements could not be concluded. I wish to inform the committee chairperson that the department planned to hold meetings with traditional leaders in the year 2025 financial year. As at third quarter of 2025, 4 engagements meetings with traditional leaders were conducted on planning agreements. There's information chairperson provided in Appendix 2. The Ministry will continue sensitizing traditional leaders on the importance of signing planning agreements for orderly and sustainable development of the communities. Maps and baseline data for the national planning framework. The target could not be achieved due to ongoing processes of developing the integrated national planning framework, which will enable the alignment and integration of spatial and socio-economic planning as enshrined in both the Urban and Regional Planning Act of 2015 and the National Planning and Budgeting Act of 2020. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and the Ministry of Finance and National Planning have agreed to adopt one national planning framework. This decision supports the ongoing revision of the national planning and the national planning and budgeting policy, and will guide the subsequent revision of the Urban and Regional Planning Act No. 3 of 2015 and the Budgeting Act No. 1 of 2020. the Ministry of Finance and National Planning has engaged a consultant to undertake the preparation for the National Planning Framework, and the work is currently undergoing. Under the Local Governance Performance Assessment System for local authorities, the department undertook 96 planned performance assessments out of the 116 planned. The 20 planned targets could not be achieved due to underfunding of the budget. The assessment, however, Chairperson, will be completed in 2025. Further, management has continued to engage Ministry of Finance and National Planning budget to ensure that the funding is released in full. Municipal infrastructure and support delivery. Solid waste management compliance monitoring. This target was not achieved. This target, Chairperson, I beg your pardon, was achieved. However, there was a delay in finalizing the report, the consolidation of the report, such that at the time of the audit, the report had not been concluded. See the report provided in Annex 3. Chairperson, the department has come up with a digitalized compliance monitoring checklist, which will hasten the consolidation of reports going forward. Bus stations construction. The bus stations could not be constructed due to lengthy procurement processes and late approval by the Ministry of Justice in terms of contract clearance. At the time of audit, contracts were signed, but contractors could not move on site due to lack of funding. The ministry was funded 8 million in April 2025, which was used to complete the construction of Lukanga bus station. Furthermore, in September 2025, Treasury released funds amounting to 26,700,000 kwacha, which is being used for the construction of Chavuma bus station, currently standing at 85% completion, while the Mpika bus station is currently at 48% completion. This information is also provided in Appendix 4. Management has strengthened coordination with the Treasury to ensure that funding is released on time. Solid waste provision certificates. The query on this matter, Chairperson, arose due to an error in the output indicator, which read as 100 solid waste service provision certificates processed instead of 100% solid waste management certificates are processed, because these are processed as they come in. The target of achieved as all applications which were received were processed during the period under review. The certificates are provided in Annex 5. The department will, going forward, ensure that errors are addressed on time to avoid future queries, as the case was in this particular matter. Rural Development Program. Rural crossing points, construction and rehabilitation. The funds, Chairperson, for construction and rehabilitation of crossing points was not released. However, in 2025, the ministry was funded 23,939,000 on 1st October 2025 for the construction and rehabilitation of crossing points under the 2025 budget. The contractors for 18 crossing points which are under construction and 5 under rehabilitation have mobilized across the country, and this information is contained in Annex 6. Contractors for 18 crossing points which are under construction and 5 rehabilitation have mobilized across the country, Chairperson, as I've said. Further, 14 contracts for the construction and rehabilitation of 70 crossing points are currently at procurement stage. The ministry will continue engaging Treasury for the funds to be released in full. Sanitation facilities in public places. This activity was not funded, therefore construction of sanitation facilities in public places could not be done. However, at the time of audit, the ministry had already obtained clearance from the Ministry of Justice to sign contracts with various contractors. However, the contracts will not be signed as the projects are not funded in 2025 and the ministry is in the process of cancelling this particular tender. There is some support information provided for in Annex 8. The Ministry Chairperson will undertake these projects once the fiscal space becomes available. Rural Development Coordination Framework. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the Ministry developed the draft Rural Development Coordination Framework. However, when the specialist from Management Development Division was engaged, the Ministry was advised to change the format for the framework. The Ministry has developed a draft Rural Development Coordination Framework which is at 80% completion, awaiting provincial consultations scheduled to take place in the second week of December 2025. The Ministry will continue engaging stakeholders in the development and implementation of policies and strategies. Customary Governance Chairperson. Village Records. The Ministry could not procure the 5,000 village registers as planned in the financial year 2024. Only 3,000 village registers were procured. 2,000 were not procured due to inadequate funding. From the total approved budget of 1 million, the Ministry was only funded half of that amount, 500,000. The Ministry planned to procure the remaining 2,000 registers in the year 2025 budget and has since procured and distributed the said registers to the provinces for onward distribution to the chiefdoms. There is some supporting information in Annex 10, Chairperson. The Ministry will continue engaging Treasury to ensure that funding is released in full. Excuse me. Provincial Council of Chiefs meetings. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the Provincial Council of Chiefs meetings were not held due to other commitments of the VVIPs that were supposed to grace the occasion of those particular meetings. In the financial year 2025, however, Chairperson, one meeting was held in Lusaka where all the chiefs were present from the 8 provinces, and this information, Chairperson, is provided for in Annex 11. The Ministry will endeavor to hold the Provincial Council of Chiefs meetings as scheduled. Chiefdom boundary mapping. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the 20 missing chiefdoms in the 1958 chiefdom boundary map could not be included due to ongoing consultations with the chiefs. The committee of members from selected ministries has been formed to handle the matter of chiefdom boundaries in consultation with the chiefs. This committee was constituted by Cabinet. The Ministry will continue to engaging the chiefs on this matter. Chairperson, Chiefs Palaces construction. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the status of the 17 Chiefs Palaces is as shown in the table below. Chairperson, I seek your indulgence whether I need to read through the whole table or I may make reference to the table.
I think you can skip the table.
Thank you.
Can proceed to page 10.
I'm guided, Chairperson. Research in Chiefs Affairs. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the research which was aimed at establishing the history and origins in Chief Mukumbi and Magoli's chiefdom could not be undertaken due to legal matters. However, the research has been scheduled to take place in Chiefs Mkanda and Mwemba's chiefdom from 1st December to 8th December 2025. The Ministry will ensure that due diligence is conducted when selecting chiefdoms for research. Local governance program, construction of chiefs' palaces. During the period under review, the ministry commenced the construction of 109 chiefs' palaces in 88 districts. The construction of the palaces was to be financed through the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, and the provision of 446,666,772 kwacha was made available. In this regard, the ministry engaged the Zambia Correctional Service to construct 80 palaces and private contractors to construct 29 chiefs' palaces. In addition, the ministry brought forward the construction of 17 chiefs' palaces whose construction works commenced in 2023, bringing the total number of chiefs' palaces under construction to 126. The following were observed, Chairperson, by the auditors: that construction of 80 chiefs' palaces by Zambia Correctional Service. In November 2023, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development engaged the Zambia Correctional Service for the construction of 80 chiefs' palaces in 7 provinces of Zambia at a total cost of 1,359 kwacha, with a completion period running from 28th November 2023 to 30th August 2024. This is as provided in the table 3 below. On 29th April 2025, the contract was extended through addenda number 3 to 30th December 2025 at no cost. The scope of the work included the chief's 4-bedroomed house, high cost, construction of 2 low-cost houses, 2-bedroom house for the chief's retainers, construction of a meeting room. As of May 2025, interim payment certificates amounting to 116,830,702 kwacha had been issued by the Zambia Correction Service, and all the issued IPCs had been settled as provided as seen in the table 4 below. A review of the project status report and fiscal inspection carried out in August 2025 revealed that out of the 80 palaces, 1 had been completed, 66 were work in progress, and 13 had not commenced. The 66 work in progress palaces were advanced construction, such as foundation, slab, levels, and others had been roofed. Table 5 shows the palaces for which construction had for the construction, and to that audit query, management response as follows, Chairperson: that management acknowledges the auditor observation and wish to state that the construction works had not commenced in various chiefdoms due to the following reasons. In Chief Magodi, the site had challenges there were challenges in agreeing on the site, and as a result, this was later replaced with another chief where the site had been ready, Chairperson. In Vubwi, the works had not commenced due to chiefdom disputes over land, but the disputes were later resolved and the sites had been handed over to the Zambia Correction Service, and materials have been delivered on site. In Petauke, at Senior Chief Kalindawalo, the site had been replaced with Chief Mumbi's Palace due to disputes over land. In Katete, the construction had not commenced due to design issues and also the determination of the suitable site for the palace of His Highness Paramount Chief Gawaundi. For the Western Province, Chairperson, if you permit me, I will read the palaces that had stalled, and I will give a reason, because basically it was the same reason across the palaces. So with your indulgence, Chairperson, the palaces that are stored in Western Province were Lealui and Limulunga palaces. This is for His Majesty the King. Nalolo and the Muoyo Palace. This is for Senior Chieftainess Litunga Lamboela. That is in Senanga. In Kalabo, it was Livonda and the Mulundumana Palaces. That is Kalabo. In Mwandi, it was Senior Chief Amukena. And in Kaoma, it was Senior Chief Mbangayeta. Okay, so for all the palaces in the Western Province, Chairperson, at the time of this audit, the consent for both the site and the designs had not yet been granted by the BRIE, and this is the reason why the construction did not take place. In Wapula, Chifunabuli, Chief Mbulu, and also in same Wapula in Lunga, Chief Kasoma Lunga, the contractor, in this case Zambia Correction Service, encountered logistical challenges in movement of materials through the water to the islands, but later ZCS was advised to subcontract the works so as to acquire contractors that were familiar with the terrain in that particular province. Chairperson, construction of these palaces by private contractors. Between 26th December 2023 and 15th January 2024, the Ministry engaged 13 private contractors to construct 29 chiefs' palaces in various districts at a total cost sum of 110,758,397, with a completion period of 9 months from the date of commencement, as seen in the Table 6 below. The scope of work for all the 29 contracts included the following: 1 by 4 bedroom chief's house with high cost, to 2 by 2 bedroom chief's retainer's house, low cost, and 1 by 1 meeting room. The conditions of contracts included the following: advance payment to be made at 25% of the contract sum, and shall be paid to the contractor not less than 21 days from the date of submission of invoices. Acceptable performance guarantee and acceptable advance payment guarantee. The performance security amount amounting to 10% of the contract sum in a freely convertible currency acceptable to the employer. Bank guarantee 10% of contract sum. Performance bond 10% of contract sum. And the site possessions and the site possession date was also stipulated. As of May 2025, amounts totaling to 88,156,929 kwacha had been paid to the contractors, leaving a balance of 22,601,468. The following, Chairperson, were observed by the auditors: failure to engage new contractors for the construction of chiefs' palaces. A review of the documents held at the Ministry revealed that during the period under review, the Ministry terminated 3 contracts in Northern Province, namely the contract for the construction of Chief Tafna's Palace in Impurungu District by GNM Projects Limited, whose contract value was 3,037,000 and 32 kwacha, and work stood at 15% and had been paid an advance payment amounting to 759,000 kwacha 258, and contract for the construction of Chief Mpande's Palace in Senga Hill District by Kempe Investment Limited, whose contract value was 3,364,367 and work stood at 18% and had been paid an advance payment amounting to 841,092 kwacha. And thirdly, contract for the construction of Chief Mamba's Palace in Kasama District by GNM Projects Limited, whose contract value was 3,364,367 kwacha and works stood at 55% and had been paid an advance payment amounting to 1,488,404 kwacha. However, as of 31st August 2025, management had not engaged new contractors for the completion of the Chief's Palaces and works had stalled. Management response, Chairperson. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the Ministry did not engage the new contractors for the 3 Chiefs Palaces as stipulated above due to the procurement processes which at the time of evaluation was at the stage of nomination for the best evaluated bidder for Chief Tafuna and Chief Mamba's Palaces. In addition, Chief Mpande's Palace was at a point of retendering for the second time, with the first tender having been non-responsive. We wish to report that the procurement process for the construction of the Chief's Palace, Chief Tafuna and Chief Mamba's Palace had been concluded, while the contract for construction of Chief Mpande's Palace is at procurement stage as seen in Annex 22. The Ministry will ensure that procurement processes are concluded on time. Chairperson, the auditor observed that the fiscal project status, a fiscal inspection of the construction of palaces in selected districts revealed that the works were at various stages as detailed in Table 7 below. I will skip all the tables, Chairperson, as ably guided. Up to 23. Management response, Chairperson, to the auditor's observations. That the project completion percentage as of July 25 was at 30%, that the contractor had the following works outstanding: main palace, concrete works, ring beams, block work at 60%, cladding, metalwork, glazing, plumbing, iron, carpentry, joinery, doors, ceiling, tiles, painting of walls not done, septic tank and soakways not done. Retainer's house, only 2 courses of block work were done at the retainer's house. Doors, fitting of windows, glazing, carpentry, plastering of walls, painting of walls had not been done. Meeting room, only 2 courses of block work were done at the time at the meeting room. Door fitting, fitting of windows, and several other fittings had not been done. Management response, Chairperson. The contract expired and the Ministry is in the process of engaging a new contractor. In Northwestern, at Chief Kapijimpanga's Palace, Chairperson, the completion was at 80% and the several works were outstanding, and management response, Chairperson, is that works I beg your pardon, Chairperson. Management response, Chairperson, is that works are progressing currently at 98%, and the palace is said to be completed by 30th December 2025. In northwestern Mufumbwe, Chief Tizera's Palace, the overall completion percentage at the time of the audit was 60%. Management response, Chairperson, is that works are progressing and currently at 70%, with roofing, plumbing, door fixes in progress. Wall plastering is complete. The completion date for this particular palace is set for the 1st January 26. In northwestern province, Manyinga, Chief Sikufela's Palace, at the time of the audit, the percentage completion was at 70. Management response, Chairperson, is that these works are currently at 99% complete, except for one lieutenant's house and extra works which have been retendered. The completion date for this particular palace is 30th December 2025. In Lusaka, Rufunsa District, Chief Wundawunda's Palace, at the time of the audit, works 7%. Management response, Chairperson, is that works are at 75% completion, with tiling of the main house, ceiling for the conference room, and installation of the tank stand in progress. The ceiling for the main house has been completed. The contractor is yet to start with painting as provided in Annex 24. The Ministry, Chairperson, is closely monitoring contractors to ensure that these palaces are completed and handed over within the contract period. Municipal infrastructure and support delivery. Auditor's observation: questionable use of limited bidding. Questionable use of limited bidding contract for the construction of Lake Diana drainage and culverts in Kanyama. On 28th October 2024, the Ministry engaged Sirocco Enterprise Limited for the construction of a lined drainage and culverts in Kanyama, Lusaka, at a contract sum of 26,996,098 Ngwe, VAT inclusive, with a completion period of 4 months and expected end date of 27th February 2025. The scope of the works included excavation of 4.5 kilometers, metalworks, concrete works, and installation of culverts. As of 31st July 2025, the contractor had been paid amounts totaling to 5,261,839 kwacha. Section 42, Subclause 2, Subclause B of the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020 provides that limited bidding may be used where there is an urgent need for the goods, works, or services, and engaging in open bidding would be impractical. The Ministry gave a justification for limited bidding, indicating that the works were an emergency. In addition, a review of the evaluation report reviewed that on 25th September 2024, the Procurement Committee approved the use of limited bidding and to reduce the flotation period from 4 to 2 weeks. However, a fiscal inspection of the works carried out in March 2025 reviewed that the works which were scheduled to be completed by February 2025 had not been completed, and the works were at 10% completion stage. It was further observed that due to the delayed completion of the works, the area was affected with floods. It is therefore questionable how the procurement, which was an emergency, had not been completed within the stipulated time frame as seen in the pictures below. In addition, there was no evidence that the contract had been extended despite the contractor being on site. Management response, Chairperson. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the delay in completion of the construction of Lady Diana drainage and culverts in Kanyama within the stipulated time frame was due to the ministry not receiving funding from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, the project funder. Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit funded the ministry 40,836,298 kwacha on 19th September 2025 for the construction of Lady Diana drainage and culverts in Kanyama. The ministry has so far paid the contractor the outstanding payments, enabling the contractor to intensify the works by increasing manpower and equipment on site, with works expected to be completed by 30th December 2025. The works are currently at 48% completion, with the contract being extended to 31st December 2025. See Annex 25 for details. Management Chairperson will endeavor to complete projects within stipulated time frame. Funding from Head 21, loans and investment. On 27th February 2024, the Ministry received funding from Head 21, loans and investment, amounting to 5,416,419 kwacha for outstanding bills. The following, Chairperson, were observed by the auditors. Waste of expenditure. During the period under review, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development paid amounts totaling to 4,546,708 kwacha to 3 contractors to dismantle arrears as a result of compensation, interest and penalties accrued due to late payment of interim certificates for the construction works carried out as seen in Table 8 below. Management response, Chairperson. Management acknowledges the observation made by the auditors and wish to state that the expenditure is for outstanding bills that were incurred prior to 1st January 2022. These outstanding bills were transferred to the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, Head 21. The accumulation of interest on the outstanding bills were as a result of the failure to pay the outstanding IPCs on time. This was due to inadequate funding from the Treasury. The Ministry wrote to the Ministry of Finance and National Planning requesting for funding amounting to 86,146,503 kwacha 9 ngwe to clear outstanding bills. Treasury funded the Ministry 5,416,419 kwacha towards the date and was paid to the contractors. Management has continued to engage Ministry of Finance and National Planning for the liquidation of all the outstanding bills and avoid further accumulation of interest, as can be seen from our correspondences in Annex 26. Failure to settle outstanding interests. As of 31st August 2025, the Ministry had outstanding interest and compensation in amounting to 14,562,389 kwacha, which had not been settled. Management response, Chairperson. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the Ministry is waiting for funding from the Treasury to clear the debt. Chairperson, I submit and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, PS, for your submission. So, colleagues, we'll do the questioning on Monday, 11 hours. There's no questioning. Yes, PS, you can switch off the mic. Yes, Honorable Omnyuma.
Chair, it's not a question, it's just a note for the Ministry and the Auditor General to harmonize the query on Nalolo, because I think it appears that there's a mixture between Nalolo and Senanga. So there we're on page 14. it should only be Nalolo Palace, because the Moyo Palace is complete. Yeah, so we have the same chiefdom with Senanga, so you shouldn't read Nalolo and Moyo, but just Nalolo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Lungu, you wanted to say something? It's your chiefdom also. Okay. So I think Auditor General and the Ministry. Then PS also, you can ensure that you come with Zambia Correction Service. So they can come and tell us why they are not completing the palaces. If they are not, we terminate the contract and give other people who can do the work. We did recommendation same with ZNS last time. If they are not doing the job, we give those who can do the job. So PS, thank you so much. We'll see the team on Monday if you are accompanying the controlling officer and the rest of the team. Thank you so much for submission. Immunity has been lifted, and we'll see you on Monday at 11 hours. Thank you so much.